Morning. It's April 26th, and we're going to go ahead and get our giant Marconi pepper plants that we started from seed in these containers. My wife and I went this morning and we grabbed some more potting mix, and these are 2 cubic foot bags. The containers, we stopped by the nursery and we got these containers. These are 25-gallon containers. And then we've got some bone meal and some gypsum. We had the gypsum, but we were out of bone meal, so we had to get the potting mix, the containers, and the bone meal. And I'll show you what these Marconis look like. They're really starting to take off now. We started these from seeds when we got down here from our largest peppers that we saved from last year's harvest. We saved the seeds out of the largest peppers. And here's our plants. They're already getting some peppers on the top. It's picking up. Here's one. Here's one. So we planted several seeds, and some of them didn't germinate, but I think out of the 8, we got 6 plants. So we kept the best looking 2 plants, and we gave the rest away to neighbors and friends down here. So what we're going to do is go ahead and bust open a bag of this potting mix and put in each container, and then we'll get some of this bone meal and some of this gypsum put in there, and then we'll just top it off. Now these first 2 bags are kind of heavy because they got a lot of moisture in them from all the rain we've had this week. I should have went and got it last week before the rains hit, but it is what it is at this point. But it should have plenty enough moisture in there that we might not even have to water, but we'll see what it is or how it looks whenever we get these plants put in the containers. Okay, there's one. Oh. Actually, this one looks like it's got a little more soil. We'll try to get them both. Okay. Well, let me do this. What we have here is some gypsum. It's just pelletized gypsum. You can get it for 50-pound bag for about $15, depending on where you get it from. We're just going to put this is a 2/3 cup. So I'm probably just going to fill it up to about halfway. So it's probably half a cup. Then another half cup here. Okay. Now we'll stir that in. Now this Miracle Grow potting mix says it feeds for 6 months, but that's probably for flowers. I imagine if you're growing big peppers and tomatoes and they start getting big plants, they're going to use that. They're going to use that food up before the time's up. And on the ingredients, it's basically nitrogen, phosphate, and potash. So there's nothing in here really calcium related, and that's what helps with your blossom end rot, and that's what the gypsum and the bone meal is going to be for. So now we're going to add some bone meal to that, stir it in, and then we'll top it off with some potting mix and get these plants in there. You can see what this looks like. It's just basically a white powder. It's just ground up bone. Sorry if I'm not getting it. And we're going to do about a half a cup of this in each container too. Let that dust settle. Now back home, where we come from, in Indiana, we put our peppers in the ground, so this will be the first year putting them in containers. And I'm trying to do everything I can to prevent blossom end rot. Back home, we had soil amended for many, many years with all the good organic nutrients, and I'd still lime it in the fall, the planting sites, and gypsum in the fall for the next spring's planting. So we're going to go ahead and just try it like this year and see how it goes until we can get our gardening spot figured out where we're going to put our things in the ground next year. So this year down here is all trial and error, but everything's looking good so far that we put in the pots, and Lord willing, we'll get a few peppers out of these plants, but we'll just have to see how that goes. So let me stir that up. We'll put the other potting mix in there and get these plants out of these little containers. Let's see. So we get it about 3 more inches of soil. Let's see what we got here. All right, that looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to gently take my fingers like this, put that stalk of that plant in the fork of my fingers. Now we're not seeing any roots at the bottom, but we can see them on the side. Can you see that? So we'll be gentle and try to get this thing in here without breaking it. Try to get it centered up. That's probably pretty close. We're going to do the same thing. Just put that stalk in between my fingers. Lift it up. There's one white root there. You can see it around the sides. So it wouldn't have been another week and we would have had to get these out of these pots anyway. So that looks pretty good. There we go. Now these are 25-gallon containers, and it took two cubic foot bags of Miracle Grow potting mix to fill them up. We're about, I don't know, an inch from the top, and that'll leave us a little bit of room to add some mulch to mulch them in. We didn't add a lot of bone meal, and we didn't add a lot of gypsum, basically a half a cup of each. And what I can do with that later on, if we start seeing some deficiencies, or I start getting some blossom end rot, or maybe when I start putting on the second set of peppers, I'll just top dress with the bone meal, and I'll top dress with the gypsum. And I also have some water-soluble calcium nitrate, and all of that is good to add calcium amendments into your soil so that it helps with the blossom end rot. Now, these being in 25-gallon pots, even though these are pretty big pots, I do not believe these Marconi peppers are going to do or grow quite as big as the ones we grew back home in Indiana in the ground. But if we get any peppers off of them, that'll be good. We'll know that we can grow these in containers. So this is a first-year thing for us. We don't know what's going to work, but we're going to try it. I do have some pepper seeds saved from last year's largest peppers. I didn't start them all, just in case these things die or these things don't produce. We'll still have pepper seeds for the following year to start. So if you're growing giant Marconis, always save your largest pepper to get the seeds out of. And once I open up that pepper, I'll lay the seeds out on a napkin and leave them sitting out in a out of direct sunlight for about a week and let them dry thoroughly. And then I just put them in a paper pack. I actually take an envelope, a mailing envelope, and put them in the mailing envelope and write on it what it is. And I put them in my crisper in my refrigerator. That's how I save my seeds. I've done it like that for many years. I've grown these Marconis for many years. If you're a follower of the channel, you'll know that we do pretty well with giant Marconi pepper plants, but we were growing them in the ground, so this is brand new to us. And if you like want a great tasting pepper that's easy to grow and it's got great flavor, try a giant Marconi. You can get the plants at your big box stores. That's how we originally started, and then I just saved the seeds every year. And when you're going through your pepper seeds that you save from your largest pepper, I also go through all of the pepper seeds and try to get out the largest pepper seeds. So I do that every year. We've done that for about, I don't know, many years. And that's how we were able to get giant Marconi plants as large as the ones we were growing in Indiana. Our largest plant was 7 foot tall, and we had peppers 12 inches long, and usually between 8 and 12 inches long is what we get out of these plants. And they're great tasting. So if you're new to the channel, I've got a playlist on my channel that's open to the public. You can go view it. It's Giant Marconi Pepper Grow. And you can watch all of our past videos and see how large these things will get. So we'll keep you updated on how these things are doing. I'm not going to water them right now because we may get some rain later on this evening, and I still have to move these pots, and they're pretty heavy like they are. So I've got a 2-wheel dolly. I'm going to get my wife, and she's going to come help me get these things set in place. And then if we don't get the rain tonight, I'll put a little bit of water on them. So there you go. We'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching.